Beautiful Friday night. Welcome. This is QTV News. We are coming to you from our studios on Karaba Avenue, and I'm Mamudu Gajaga. Thank you for joining us. First, here are the main news headlines. A few months after relocating to Brusubi Phase 2, the Muslim Senior Secondary School witnessed the inauguration of its new masjid on Friday. President Barrow has presided over the swearing-in ceremony of the newly appointed Minister of Public Service, Administrative Reform, Policy Coordination and Delivery, along with 3 permanent secretaries. 50 Gambian Navy personnel graduated on Friday after completing 2 weeks training in various maritime-related disciplines. We hear from Susan C. Solomon, Public Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy in the Gambia, about the Memorandum of Agreement signed between the Gambia and the U.S. government through their embassy in the Gambia to acquire a site to build a permanent U.S. embassy in the Gambia. The International Open University and Inside Training Center have signed a Memorandum of Understanding to enable Inside Training Center graduates to proceed to the International Open University to undertake degree programs. Those were the main news headlines, and now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you if you're just joining us. This is QTV News. A few months after relocating to Brusubi Phase 2, the Muslim Senior Secondary School witnessed the inauguration of its new masjid on Friday. This is fundamental to the school, which was pioneered and established in Banjul nearly 5 decades ago by concerned Muslim elders motivated to promote Islamic teaching. Mahmoud Lamin Choi reports.
A masjid is at the heart of Islamic life, as it is the house of Allah where Muslims congregate to worship their Creator. This Friday, a new masjid is being inaugurated at Muslim Senior Secondary School in Brusubi Phase 2. Muslim High School, now a senior secondary school, was founded and established in Banjul nearly 5 decades ago by the Gambia Muslim Association. A former Islamic teacher at the school, now the Imam Ratib of Banjul, Alhaji Chernomaska, is presiding over the inauguration of the masjid. The Imam Ratib Ka expresses gratitude to the sponsor of the mosque project, the board and principal of the school for the successful development. In a settlement agreement with the Gambia Ports Authority to give way to the port's expansion project, the school was relocated from Banjul to Brusubi, with learning commencing last September. At this new location, the school began operations with state-of-the-art infrastructure, but without a masjid, which is fundamental to a school founded by Muslims.
As you know, this Muslim Senior Secondary School was first established with a madrasa, and we had a mosque in Banjul.
Sheikh Ibrahim Masane Jaju, the Vice President of the Supreme Islamic Council, mobilized resources for the construction of the masjid. When the school was relocated from Banjul to Brusubi, I was contacted and informed that it had no masjid. And I said that cannot be, because Muslim High School is known for teaching religion. I asked them to make a video indicating the situation, and when it was sent to me, that is when I got sponsors for the construction of a masjid in the school. Seydou Jallo is the principal of Muslim Senior Secondary School, and he explains how beneficial the new masjid is to his school.
The bedrock of the whole school is Islam, so we cannot do without a masjid where we will converge and pray, in congregation. So it's really a very big improvement to this entire school, alhamdulillah.
Mohamed Sar is an Islamic teacher at the Arab section of this school. He makes this appeal to the public.
The finishing is that we need an ablution ground, a place that is specifically prepared for ablution, for toilets, as well as praying ground for the females. Of course, there are other structures, because the madrasa section itself, as you had heard from the chairman, there's no single building that has already established for the madrasa.
Muslim Senior Secondary School has contributed significantly to the educational development of the Gambia, with alumni in both the public and private sector. Crowning all of that is that the school is the alma mater of President Adama Barrow, At this event, the interim president of the Federation of Ex-Students of the school, Wakambai, and his team have pledged to continue mobilizing support geared towards restoring what he calls the lost glory of Muslim Senior Secondary School. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
President Barrow has urged the newly appointed Minister of Public Service, Administrative Reform, Policy Coordination and Delivery, Babukar Boy, to vigorously pursue the Civil Service Reform Initiative to build an effective and efficient public service. He was speaking during the swearing-in ceremony of Minister Boy, along with 3 permanent secretaries. Alusise reports.
Minister Babukar Boy replaces Babukar Juf, who is now reassigned as the Minister of Trade. Sworn alongside Minister Boy were the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Lang Yabo, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Jenaba Emelka, and the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Fisheries, Mr. Umar SM Jiba. President Barrow tasked the new minister to ensure that the public service reverts to its previous reputation for effective service delivery, stressing that the country needs to regain the glory that the public service was known for decades ago. That is, one marked by professionalism and commitment to serving the country through its invaluable human resource.
Your ministry, which is a new creation, could be described as the nerve center of the government machinery. The performance of all the various institutions and the workforce in general largely depends on this new ministry. Government cannot make meaningful progress without a fully functional, effective and efficient public service. Nor can the public institutions perform in the absence of proper policies and plans to guide appropriate program delivery.
A former Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, Babukar Boy, the new Minister of Public Service, Administrative Reform, Policy Coordination and Delivery, thanked and commended President Barrow for the trust in appointing them while promising their commitment to deliver.
We therefore take this as a rare opportunity to serve one's country, and we commit ourselves to delivering as promised in our different oaths. I have no doubt in my mind that with Your Excellency's support, we can work together for a better and more prosperous Gambia. The challenges will always be there, but with perseverance and unity in purpose, I have every reason to believe that nothing will be insurmountable.
All the appointees have a wealth of experience serving the public sector, and it is hoped they will make an impact at their different positions. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
50 Gambia Navy personnel graduated on Friday after completing 2 weeks training in various maritime-related disciplines conducted by the Royal British Navy International Maritime Training Team. Ajibintu Drame reports.
The training was conducted at the Naval Command and Fleet in Banjul on seamanship, damage control, vessel board search and seizure and navigation, amongst others. Commander Aliou Sane, Commanding Officer, Naval Command and Fleet Gambia Navy, thanked the British Navy for sharing their knowledge and expertise. He underscored the significance of the training.
In recent years, we witnessed a significant increase of concern and the training demand among the officers and the ratings of the Gambian Navy to effectively carry out our constitutional mandate, which is to secure our maritime borders with a view to protecting and preserving our maritime resources. Your Excellency, I consider this first ever certificate ceremony by the Royal Navy International Defense Training as the foundation and the starting point for a consistent and a continuous collaboration in training and the sharing of knowledge and the experience locally here in the Gambia and even in the UK in the near future.
This is Warrant Officer Martin Power, team leader of the British International Defense Training Team. He applauded the immense efforts of the participants during the intensive training.
As you move forward, no training is worthwhile if it is not practiced and utilised. We have left charts and various equipment, and we hope to hear that you're making use of this equipment and practice the skills that we have left you with.
The Navy plays a unique role in providing credible combat forces, deterring aggression and maintaining the freedom of the seas. Brigadier General Usman Gomez, representing the Chief of Defense Staff, says the training is important for the development of the necessary skills and competencies of naval officers, which will help them improve in executing their duties in securing the maritime environment of the Gambia. David Belgrove, British High Commissioner to the Gambia, had this to say.
Thousands of coastal communities in Africa, including the Gambia, livelihoods and futures depend on fish. Too often, we hear from these communities about declining fish stocks, which is why governments like our own need to show the political will to protect and police their fishing grounds.
Ibrahim Okoli, a petty officer and participant, thanked the British instructors and the British government for endorsing the training.
I will acknowledge the efforts of the commanding officer, Naval Command, Commander Aliou Sane, for providing an enabling environment for the training. My fellow participants, as the saying goes, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Navy Captain Sambu Barrow, executive officer at the Naval Headquarters, congratulated the participants for successfully completing the training and implored them to use the knowledge gained during the training. Certificates were awarded to the outstanding participants at the end of the event. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
That story by Ajibintu Drame takes us to a commercial break, and when we return, we still have some more local news stories for you. Do stay tuned.
Bank from here and there and here too. Here and even here. Introducing the Bloom Digital Suite from Bloom Bank Africa. Web and mobile banking that allows you to bank on the go at your convenience and on your own terms. Check and transfer funds, pay NAWEC bills, buy cash power, buy mobile credit, and so much more. For more information, visit www.bloombankafrica.com or pass by any of our branches nationwide. Download from the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. Bloom Digital Web and Mobile Banking on the go from Bloom Bank Africa.
I needed that. With LG ThinQ, my InstaView refrigerator is like my own personal assistant in the kitchen. Now, my foods and fruits can remain fresh for a very long time because with LG ThinQ, I can turn on the Hygiene Fresh. That removes up to 99.9% germs and increases shelf life. So, I forgot to properly close my fridge, but the LG ThinQ is always up to date. My life made easy with LG ThinQ.
Welcome back, and thank you very much if you're just joining us. This is QTV News. The Gambia government, through the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice, on Thursday announced that it has signed a memorandum of agreement with the government of the United States of America through their embassy in the Gambia to acquire a site to build what they say will be permanent state-of-the-earth embassy here in the Gambia. Aliou Cisse spoke to Susan C. Solomon, Public Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy, and he files in this report.
According to a press release from the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, the proposed site was chosen after a lengthy consultative selection process and is the property currently being occupied by the West Africa Livestock Innovative Center, WALIC, formerly the ITC. The site is in Bijilo on the Batlading Highway. The site measures approximately 10 hectares. The U.S. government is currently renting for its embassy located on Kairaba Avenue. The government of the Gambia said Walik will be relocated to a more suitable location with new offices being built for the center. The design, construction and relocation cost of Walik and the visitor center will be borne by the government of the United States. Speaking to QTV, Susan C. Solomon, Public Affairs Officer, U.S. Embassy, Banjul, said a thorough study will be conducted to determine the different factors that will go into building the new embassy. She explains the vision that informs the building of the proposed new embassy.
The vision is pretty much fourfold. Number one is to create a green, environmentally friendly embassy. That's number one. Number two is to also create jobs, not only after the embassy is built, but as the embassy is built, that would mean construction jobs, engineering jobs, other jobs that go into creating this type of a structure. Number three is also using Gambian materials. That's very important to us. That means, more support for local tradespeople, and also it minimizes our carbon footprint as we move forward. And the fourth one is probably the most, the biggest one, which is to have a space that is sufficient to help us grow our commitment to the Gambian people.
A team of U.S. technical experts, including environmental experts, will work with Gambian experts over the next few years to ensure all environmental and other concerns are sufficiently addressed. Susan C. Solomon gives assurances that the Bijilo Forest Park, which is close to the allocated area, will not be affected.
We will not impact the monkey park. That is very much a concern of everyone at the embassy, especially the ambassador. We know that the monkey park is very important to the Gambian people, and I'll just say it's a beautiful space. And we want, as we move forward, one of the things that we want to do is to work with these activists and to work with people who are concerned about the environment, have them be advisors for us so that we are certain that we are not going to be negatively impacting that space that's so important to the Gambian people.
The building of a new permanent U.S. embassy in the Gambia will significantly strengthen the already strong bilateral and diplomatic relations between the Gambia and the United States of America. The press release from the Office of the Attorney General said the Gambia government will keep the public informed of the acquisition process as it progresses. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
The International Open University and Inside Training Center have signed a Memorandum of Understanding. As Jennifer Sonko reports, the MOU will enable Inside Training Center graduates to proceed to IOU for degree programs.
Inside Training Center was established in 1999 to provide education and skills training, especially to young people. Since then, the training center has graduated over 10,000 students in different sectors. The center has now partnered with the International Open University, a private on-site and distant education university in the Gambia, founded by Dr. Bilal Phillips. With the signed MOU between the two institutions, Inside Training Center graduates will proceed to IOU for degree programs in different disciplines. As a result, the two institutions will harmonize their modules to be mutually beneficial. The Vice Chancellor and President of the International Open University, Dr. Chernobari, elaborates.
A university says you need 5 credits to get directly access to a university. Now you can go to a TVET institution, and through a harmonization of programs, if you perform well and you graduate well, that course that you have done could now become the course transfer, the credit transfer that would allow you to breach through a university and not spend a whole 4 years again to do a program. And this is part of what we intend to do.
Both institutions have been separately involved in training prison inmates. Inside Training Center in the Gambia and International Open University in America. This partnership will give inmates an opportunity to undertake degree programs while in prison, contributing to efforts to make Mile 2 a correction center, which rehabilitates inmates. How sustainable is this partnership between these two institutions? Ismail Asise, principal of Insight Training Center, explains.
We are credible institutions. We have all been accredited by NACA. And this partnership is like we are giving our support to the students. You have heard about IOU, they provide some scholarship support. And at Insight also, we also involved in giving support to students. So basically when it comes for sustainability, individual institutions, we are not mobilizing resources. We are mobilizing how do we harmonize our programs and give access to our students to get their degrees.
Technical and vocational education and training TVET includes all forms and levels of education and training through formal, non-formal and informal learning methods in both school-based and work-based learning contexts. Omar Nyang, Vice Chairperson of Insight Training Center, says Gambians should change their perspective about TVET education.
People have one of two inclinations. You are either technically minded or academically minded. People sometimes don't understand the difference between being an academically minded person and a technically minded person. If in this Gambia, whenever you talk about somebody who is not academically minded, they say, "Xel mi neexut, munuta janga, he's not clever." Then they term you as a don. Now, I always kick against people saying these people are dropouts.
The partnership between the International Open University and Insight Training Center, if sustainably implemented, will go a long way towards ensuring access to education for all. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
Now, a 10-year-old girl diagnosed with kidney disease is seeking assistance for medical treatment overseas. Her medical report shows both of her kidneys are damaged and she relies on dialysis. More in this story. Ami Ba and her family live in Kerbach, Nyanija. She has been battling kidney illness for the past 3 years. According to her medical report, Ami has been diagnosed with end-stage renal failure, which means both of her kidneys are damaged and need immediate surgery. She shared her experience of living with the disease.
I have been going through immense pain since I was diagnosed with kidney disease. Look at my body. I'm drained completely. I suffer from stomach pain, diarrhea, sleep deprivation, and body pain. I also find it difficult to pass urine.
Amiba has called on the public to help her get overseas treatment, as the only way out of this problem is to have a kidney transplant.
I am from a poor family, so I am calling on the public to help me so I can get my health back. Imagine we can't even afford transport fare to Banjul for my weekly 3-day dialysis.
Fatu Cham, Ami's mother, also narrated the family's ordeal over the past 3 years. She says she feels hopeless. She added that her daughter had been receiving treatment at the Farafenni General Hospital, but they have now transferred to Kunkujang in the West Coast region. Fatu Cham says she is looking for help so that her daughter can be treated.
When she was first admitted to the hospital, we had to buy her injections for $25 each to ease her pain. Her father is old. He sold all his livestock just to see his daughter get healthy again. We have nothing left now. She needs to go for dialysis 3 times a week at the Edward Francis Moore Teaching Hospital. Even the transport fare to Banjul is a big problem, and I have to beg people. I'm calling on the public to support my daughter to get overseas treatment she urgently needs.
If anyone would like to assist Ami to go for overseas treatment or even fares for her 3 days a week dialysis session at the Edward Francis Moore Teaching Hospital, please contact QTV on 3333 245 or write to news@qtv.gm. Mumudu Gajaga, QTV. Groundnut farmers in the Lower River region say their expectation of a bumper harvest might be affected as this year's rainfall continued for longer than expected. They spoke to our regional correspondent Bakari Balde about this year's farming prospects. His story is narrated by Churchill Balde.
Farmers in this part of the country are preparing for the harvesting season. According to them, crops like groundnuts and coos need lots of sunshine rather than plenty of water as it gets closer to harvest time. Almamo Diba, a farmer and executive, explains some of the methods used to keep crops safe despite the high rainfall.
The thing that is threatening us right now is unstoppable rain. Rain is still coming. That is something which we think could also have some negative impact to our crops. Because as you can see, what we do, the only mechanism we have right now is when we harvest them, we have to separate them and to place them into pieces so that we will not be able to, we cannot put them together, because the moment we put them together and the rain comes, it will have the groundnut will have so many bad groundnuts.
Alhaji Sidia Kante, a groundnut farmer, says the expectation for this year is very high compared to the previous season, despite the lack of farming equipment and the high cost of fertilizer remaining challenges.
Fertilizer,
adequate fertilizers help us get a good harvest, but it's very expensive this year and most farmers were unable to afford it. A bag was $2,500. Before, it was reduced to $2,000. So that is expensive. I need 30 bags of fertilizers. I was able to afford only 10 bags because I could not afford any more. That has been a big challenge for us. We are appealing to government to support the farmers.
Ibrahima Kamara, another groundnut farmer and a teacher, says the government should buy groundnut at a reasonable price this year.
The government should dialogue with the farmers from all regions about the price of groundnuts. We should come up with our price and negotiate with government. For example, if we say a kilo is $10 and government says no, we should negotiate.
Less rainfall can lead to crop death or a low yield. However, too much rainfall can cause groundnut to rot, develop fungus, or mold. This poses the difficult problem of coping with what nature brings when it comes to rainfall. Reporting for QTV News, I am Churchill Balde.
Well, I'm afraid that's it for QTV News tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Join us tomorrow and have a pleasant night. Bye.